Hello, welcome back. Today, we're going to look at the idea that there is no death. There is a belief in death, but there is no death. The Son of God is free. That's actually a lesson from the workbook for students. The idea is there is no death. The Son of God is free. So let's delve into that one here. We're in the text, chapter 3, section 7, paragraphs 5 and 6. It always makes me laugh to pinpoint exactly where we are in the text of A Course in Miracles, but that is where we are. And as always, I invite you to read this material, whether you have the physical book or whether you're reading it online. I invite you to go through it and parse through it, because these videos are intended to be an aid. They're intended to help us understand the material and relate to it, but they're not by any means a substitute for the material itself. And they're definitely not a substitute for forgiving, truly forgiving the Son of God. In other words, they're not a substitute for our doing the work. And we reach a certain point, despite all of our tendencies toward convenience and laziness that we all have in the world, we reach a certain point here in the spiritual arena, right? On the spiritual path, walk, journey, whatever you want to call it. We hit a place where we realize that this really is about maturity, an adult level of maturity, and taking responsibility for our entire life, including what we think, because this is a course in mind training, and the Holy Spirit is speaking to us, and Jesus is teaching us how to change our mind and lovingly inviting us to join him. So let's do it, shall we? The belief in separation, as we see here, can be very real. We can make the belief in separation so real that it seems to constitute our entire reality. And this Jesus refers to as the devil. And put that in quotes. There is no devil, as we've seen in a recent video. There is no fallen angel named Lucifer or Satan that wants to punish you and appears in a kingly or a hot, sexy guise here in the world to tempt us to do bad things so we can bubble in a lake of fire henceforth and forever. No, none of that. But the belief in separation can appear very real. The physical body appears very real. Objects that we see with the body's eyes when we reach out and touch them or bump into them or they collide with us seem solid, and all too real. So here comes a thought system, A Course in Miracles, saying there is no world. Anything that is not of God is illusion. That too. I mean, really, anything that changes, anything that shifts or transforms, including energy, in any way, is an illusion. So it says exactly the opposite of what our biology textbooks tell us. It says exactly the opposite of what many of us learned in school or at home from our parents, from our teachers, from society in general. It's 180. It is. It's a 180, a complete transformation of thought systems that we're about here. And when we believe in separation, look at what happens to us. War, chaos, destruction, suffering. we could say more about that, but we don't really need to. On the path, an honest assessment is so valuable here, isn't it? Because we can just take a look around and see, okay, this is what the belief in separation has caused. Conflict everywhere you look, everywhere you turn. Everybody, everywhere appears to be in conflict with one another. And what's going on here is that truth is completely unaffected by all of this. We become afraid of our miscreations because we haven't gone all the way back to the beginning, capital B, by the way, our creation, capital C. We haven't gone all the way back yet. So there's still conflict. There's still doubt. What we're doing here is, even though we've all gotten together and agreed that there's this thing called linear time that proceeds one moment to the next, from past to the present to the future, all of that concept that we adhere to in the world is not actually the way it is. The separation never occurred. So we're invited to actually go back to the beginning in our mind, of course, right? This is a course in mind training. So we clarify our perception. And truth has been completely unaffected, is continually unaffected by all of our drama. The separation never occurred. Truth can be experienced. It can be known. Even while we appear to be here. And some of you may have had glimpses of truth. Some of you may have had an experience that's referred to in this course as revelation, which in fact is an experience of our natural state as one with God, beyond all of our concepts like space, time, the physical body, warfare, and email. Beyond all of that. There is no death. Our reality is changeless. It's eternal. Eternal means always. It's outside of time, in fact. It's completely changeless. There is no death. And, of course, we are free to believe that there is. We're free to believe that we're encased, stuck in this thing that's 80% water that does not last. It's completely changing, isn't it? From one moment to the next. Our cells are dying and regenerating, we hope, right? Our hair gets grayer, guys. Sometimes it falls out, see? Right? I mean, our body parts are not the same from one minute to the next. It's constantly changing. And anything that is constantly shifting and changing is not of God. So if we're God's creation, one with our Creator, then we can't be, in truth, a physical body, can we? We've talked quite a bit, and we'll, of course, speak quite a bit more about thought systems. A Course in Miracles is a thought system, and if you're new to this course, well, that's what it is. It's the thought system of the Holy Spirit, which we're invited to juxtapose with the thought system of the ego. Separation, in other words. Separation, death, decay, destruction, warfare, pitched battle, and all of our psychodrama that we claim to hate so much, that we claim to wish to escape, but continue to practice and indulge in over and over until such time as we've suffered enough and we want to seek truth, to get out of the suffering, so to speak. All of these are metaphors. We don't have to seek truth. It simply is. What we do is remove the barriers to our experience of truth. We clear the slate, so to speak. We clarify our perception. We remove the veil or the brick wall. When people in various spiritual traditions talk about spirituality as an undoing, yes, exactly. That's exactly what it is. We're setting the ego aside. Every miracle that we extend to our brother, every act of forgiveness, every thought of forgiveness is taking away part of this layer, this veneer, which can seem very thick. Yet we can set it aside. We could actually pass right through what only appears to be a dark cloud. We can leave it to the side. The two thought systems here, that of the Holy Spirit and that of the ego, are absolutely irreconcilable. They're exactly opposite to each other in every respect: light and dark, life or death, God or the ego, however you wish to characterize this in language. The thought systems are irreconcilable. You can't have a combination of both. When we attempt to do that, our mind is in conflict. So the world of pain and decay and suffering and economic competition and a social media feed full of people trolling one another, all of that is left not by death, but by truth. Truth can be known by all of us, and it waits for us. It simply is. It can be known. So the world is left not by death, but by truth, where we simply set our illusions to the side. So at this point, and actually at every point, every single point on the path, it's valuable to ask, well, how do we do this? Because everyone who talks about spirituality is going to talk about some variation of this. They may use completely different language. Again, this course is not the end-all be-all of world spirituality. It's simply one of many doors. So some of you may be perfectly content and connected with the spiritual practice or religion that you grew up with, and that's absolutely a beautiful thing. These ideas can be used to augment your own walk, to help illuminate your path for you. And people use this material in that way. If you choose to take this as your primary path, which is absolutely fine as well, it's a complete path, then yeah, you can do that. So it's your choice. That's the beauty of this material, is that it's a self-study curriculum. All I'm doing is sharing it with you. What you're really listening to is your inner teacher here. When you watch a video on YouTube, or you read something in a book or online, or listen to a podcast, and it connects with you, that's your inner teacher talking to you. It doesn't make any difference what the image on your screen actually is, or what it in fact looks like. Is it a middle-aged man, woman? Is it a young woman, an older man, woman? Doesn't make any difference what the image looks like. It's the resonance of the message that we should be paying attention to. And when something lands, when something hits, that is your inner teacher talking to you. And it does not make any difference if you refer to your inner teacher as the Holy Spirit, as Jesus, as Buddha, as your guide or guides. Call your inner teacher whatever you will. We're invited here in A Course in Miracles to give our entire experience over to our inner teacher for guidance, and he will direct our forgiveness, which is a lot more relaxing than it seems at first. Remember that giving up our need to control is giving up a very large part of our ego clinging. So you might want to try that, maybe today. All right. So thank you, as always, for tuning in. The subscription button is right here, and I'd love to have you join me. Thank you to all of you who have recently subscribed. And again, the live stream is going to start this Saturday, February 11th. Details will be here in the commentary, including the link to my Patreon page, where you can find all of that material. These videos, of course, will continue. I offer them several times a week because, number one, it's my own personal directive to share this course with you and to share some of my own experience along the way. And consistency is what we all need on the path. So these videos will continue to appear right here. And I thank you, as always, for tuning in. And more than that, I thank you for your dedication and commitment to your spiritual practice. That is so huge. I keep saying it, but there's no higher form of offering that you could ever give than to put these ideas into practice, because that's how we learn that all of this high-sounding language, all of these phrases that resonate with us, this is how we learn that everything that a voice on your screen says, an image on your screen says, that's how we learn that it's true, is by putting it into practice for ourselves, our practical application. So your practice is the highest form of offering you could give anyone, anywhere, anytime, much higher than money, for sure. So thank you for that. And again, as always, please join me. We offer these videos several times a week. So I'll see you on the next one.